Hey everyone, and welcome to our Awana Connect online. I'm so thankful that you're watching and joining us. And as we go through this, if you resonate with something that's said, if you connect with something, go ahead and let us know in the comments wherever you're watching. We'd love to see what's connecting with you. And we're going to have a great time today. Kind of the flow of this is that we're going to be sharing a lot of updates on both events and resources from Awana. And that way you can get plugged into those things and see how they can best help you disciple your kids. And, the theme of our Awana Connect, the theme of our Awana Ministry Conference this year, which I'll share about in a moment, is this idea of believe. And if you know Awana at all, you've been following us at all, you know about our 3B child discipleship philosophy. You know that our 3B philosophy is belong, believe, become. That when children belong to a highly relational ministry, when their beliefs are deeply rooted in Scripture and the power of the gospel, and when we are pushing them to become like Christ through experiences in our ministries, that they're going to become resilient disciples of Jesus. That's our prayer, that's our goal, that's our hope. And so our theme last year for the Connects in our ministry conference was belong. This year it is believe, as we're focusing on the enduring power and truth of God's word. And as I think about believe, the thought I wanted to enter into was this idea of how our beliefs really do determine our resiliency. And the way I want to share that is I want us to think about the Chronicles of Narnia. Now, if you've never read these books, it's a series of books where people are transported from our world to the fantastical world of Narnia, where there's talking beasts and magic. And different points of the story point to truths of Christianity. And what's most known as Aslan. Aslan is the Christ figure in these books. And one of my favorite scenes in all the Narnia books happens in Prince Caspian. The children that you meet in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in the first book in the series, you get to connect with them again in Prince Caspian. They're brought back again to Narnia. And when they get back to Narnia, they find things in disarray. For years, Narnia has not been the same as they knew it. And there's an evil king that has taken over. And so the children are trying to travel and make their way to Prince Caspian to help him set things right. While on their travels, they haven't seen Aslan. They haven't heard word of him. But Lucy, the youngest child, she gets a glimpse of him here and there. And they think she's crazy. Maybe they think she's seeing something. Well, eventually, at one point at night, while they're sleeping, she goes into the woods, and there he is in all of his glory. And there's this one little moment, this conversation they have that I think is so beautiful and so profound. So she runs up to Aslan, gives him a hug, and after she hugs him, says this. Aslan, said Lucy, you're bigger. That is because you are older, little one, answered he. Not because you are? I am not. But every year you grow, you will find me bigger. And I love this scene because, again, Aslan, he's kind of a Christ figure in these stories. And this should be the same truth for our kids today in our ministries. With every week that passes, every month, every year, God should seem bigger to them. And the ways that we show Christ to them and the ways that He's taught in His Word, their love for Him should be growing, their knowledge of Him should be growing, and the resolve to follow Him should be growing. I think about this idea with a growing belief in God, strengthening our resiliency, our resolve. And here's what I want us to take away with is that the strength of our resolve or the strength of our children's resolve will be just as strong, is directly tied to the one they believe in. The strength of our resolve is as strong as the one we believe in. You see, Lucy, when she encounters Aslan, he says, you're going to have to follow me and do it no matter what. And it's a difficult thing for Lucy because she's the only one that can see Aslan. So when they get lost in their travels and she says, hey, Aslan's saying we need to go this way, they think she's lost her mind. But why did Lucy have the resolve to follow Aslan even when she looked crazy, even when it looked hard? Because she wasn't just following a little kitty cat. She wasn't following some weak lion. She was following the great lion, Aslan, in all of his power. Our kids will have a resolve to follow Jesus no matter what, When we give them a God to believe in that is strong, that is holy, that is mighty, not some weak God made in their own image, but the God that we encounter in Scripture. So the scriptures we teach, what we do week in and week out, our goal should be to make God bigger in their eyes than when they entered in, so that they have the resolve to follow a strong God. So that's what I wanted to leave you with as we think about this theme of believe. The enduring truth of God's word helps us to endure and follow in Christ no matter what we face. So with that said, with this vision of believe and making disciples, I kind of want to give us a roadmap of all these things we're going to look at today. Because like I said, there's a lot of updates. There's a lot of events I want to be sharing with you. And this image I have on here, I've gotten this from our CEO, Matt Markins. He shared this once, and I don't know if it was in a conversation we had or what, but it's really stuck with me. And it's this idea that when people think of Awana, what we want them to think of is child discipleship. And that we want that to be the tip of the iceberg. So if the whole of the Awana ministry was an iceberg, what we want people to see right off the bat is that we're about child discipleship. We're not just about making curriculum, programming. We are about helping churches and equipping them to make disciples of the kids in their ministries. And so the things that we have around this general idea of child discipleship, the way we train folks in the philosophy, that all kick-started with the book Resilient. And if you don't have that book, I'd highly recommend you read it. And then after Resilient, we've had a few other resources that came out, which I'll talk about. But all these things, whether it's the books or these events, we're trying to get the church as a whole to really grab onto the vision of resilient child discipleship. That's what we want people to see at the tip of the iceberg. But obviously, there's so much more to the Awana ecosystem, right? We have all these resources and training we provide the church that go into child discipleship. Things like Awana clubs like we've had for decades. Things like our weekend curriculum Bright, and like our brand new at-home discipleship solution known as Talk About. So this is what's going to guide us. I want to talk about child discipleship as a whole and what Awana is doing to invest into that conversation. And then the resources Awana has that provides us with equipping to go deeper levels of that. So first, at the tip of the iceberg, like I said, Resilient really kick-started a lot of this resilient discipleship language. And again, if you haven't read this book, you need to get it. Connect with me. Maybe I can get you a free copy, but you need to get this in your hands. There's some good research, some good content to really get you and your leaders thinking through what is the goal of children's ministry and what does it need to look like. And it needs to look like child discipleship. Well, after that book came out, we also had the Resilient Disciples podcast. And just like with the book, if you haven't jumped on to listening to the podcast, I'd recommend it. They bring on a ton of great guests, a lot of different authors, speakers, kidmin leaders like you that are just wanting to grow in their knowledge and understanding of making resilient disciples of children. So check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. So after we had the book and the podcast, we said, okay, now we want an event that is bringing the church as a whole together to have conversations with one another. We don't just want Awana speaking this out into the church world. We want church leaders to come together to say, how do we do this well? So last year, we kick-started the Child Discipleship Forum, which is an event that happens annually. This year, it's happening again in Nashville or online September 22nd and 23rd. And y'all, I went last year just as a participant, and it was awesome. I cried. It was a good cry. I was inspired. I left encouraged, and I want that to be the same for you. And there's going to be a lot of different conversations. We're going to have conversations on cultural changes, on children's ministry, local church practice. And we're going to have a lot of good speakers speaking into these topics. In regards to culture, guys like Andy Crouch, Carl Trueman, which Carl Trueman's written one of the greatest books of all time on understanding our cultural times. We've got people like David Kinnaman, who's going to be giving us research based on how the church and children's ministry is looking right now in our new reality. And then obviously you got Matt Markins, our CEO, who's going to be talking about child discipleship. And I already know his talk is going to be great, so you want to come out and see that. So great lineup of speakers, great content we're going to share there. There's still some discounts on tickets, so if you want to go ahead, go to childdiscipleshipforum.com, get your ticket. I'd love to see you there. It's in Nashville, y'all. It's in our backyard, so I'd love to see you join us for that. Now, speaking of which, I talked about how David Kinnaman from Barna is going to be coming to share research. Well, one thing he's going to be sharing is the research that went into this book, Children's Ministry in a New Reality. This is a brand new book that came out just, I think, a month or two ago by Awana in partnership with Barna. And a lot of research across different churches, different sizes, different denominations, all asking the question, what is children's ministry looking like right now in our new reality? The research was eye-opening. I've read through it. I pulled away a lot of good stuff that's already influencing the way I do trainings and teaching. And you can get a hold of this book. You can go to awana.org/shop to purchase it. You can also go to Barna's website. I believe it's barna.com/Awana where you can buy it there. But either way, I would get your hands on this book. The research is so helpful, eye-opening, and there's even an assessment tool in there as well. Now, with that mention of the assessment tool, that was very strategic because part of that assessment tool is going to be used in some trainings we have coming up called the Resilient Child Discipleship Training. Now, what is this? Well, when we wrote Resilient, the immediate response was, this is great, this is changing my thinking, but I want some boots on the ground, very practical training on how the 3 B's can be applied to my ministry. Well, we heard that, and this is our response. We created a training that not only goes deeper into each B of our 3B philosophy, but it gives you practices on how to live it out, and we help you evaluate your ministry through that assessment tool we made with Barna and the Glue Company to assess your ministry to see how you're doing in each B of Resilient Child Discipleship. We're going to be giving more information about that soon. I'm going to try and be a part of the Nashville one, possibly the Atlanta one, and there's some in other places. We'll also have an online option. But this is going to be so good. I got to get a sneak peek at this. I'm serious. I think this is one of the best things Awana has ever made. And I'm not just saying that. I think this is going to help the church in so many ways. So keep an eye out for Resilient Child Discipleship Training. It's going to be coming soon to a city near you. And again, we're going deeper and deeper into our 3B philosophy, belong, believe, and become. And that's what all these resources and events were about, was helping churches to live this out so they can make disciples. Well, now that we've, again, covered the tip of the iceberg, what we really want to focus on as a ministry, under the iceberg, under the surface, there's all these resources to help you do that. We've got our Bright Weekend curriculum. I'm sure you've heard about this from Awana, but one thing I wanted to highlight was that there's updates to the curriculum now. This past summer, they made some updates. It looks fresh. It looks good. Just some tweaks here and there. And y'all, this is a high quality curriculum. I've looked over some samples of the new stuff they've got with the updates, and it is spot on. It's so good. It gives you activities, it gives you great Bible content, it helps kids know how to apply the lessons to their lives. So if you want to check that out, you can get a free sample of it at brightcurriculum.com. Now, I referenced this earlier, but maybe you haven't heard about this yet. Awana came out with a new resource this year called Talk About, and it's an at-home discipleship resource for families, where we're equipping the family to have faith conversations. And I love our tagline, where we want to help you turn everyday moments into moments that matter, where you talk about Jesus and point your family to Him. You can go to talkaboutdiscipleship.com to learn more about this resource. But one thing I will say is, maybe you're not sure about it. You don't know if you want to subscribe, even though the subscription is only $5.99 a month. But I've got a personal code you can use. If you go to checkout and type in H. Williams, you get a month of it for free. And so definitely give this resource a check it out. It provides conversation guides for you and your family, and it covers a wide age range. It gives conversation pieces and questions for young kids to older kids. It's got family activity chart. I think they call it through the week sheet, where there's just different activities you can do throughout the week to reinforce the conversations you're having. And then there's other material like parent videos, coloring pages, memory verses, Spotify playlist, and more. So if you're looking for something to take your family deeper on a consistent basis, this really does try to equip the family to do that, and it makes it pretty easy. So go to talkaboutdiscipleship.com and check that out. Now, all of us, we're pretty familiar with Awana clubs, right? And I just wanted to give you some highlights on some new things with Awana clubs. First of all, the Awana membership has gone up in price. And I can't tell you the last time they changed the price. It's been $99 for the year for as long as I can remember. But the reason they have the price is they have added a lot of extra content and things to the membership. Aside from the boots on the ground help and resourcing you get from missionaries, aside from the fact that you get such a huge percentage off on your purchases as a membership, we've also added Awana Basics online to this. And if you haven't checked that out, I'm going to be sharing about it here in just a second. But man, there are so much good things that come with the Awana membership. If you haven't got yours yet, go ahead and do it. Another thing I'll say about the Awana membership is it's gone on to a rolling 12-month subscription. So if you subscribe in May, it goes all the way to next May. If you subscribe in July, it goes all the way to next July. So just kind of that tweak there, which I think is really helpful. So what's new with Awana? Well, we got our new product guide out, and there are new items in there. There's new apparel, so we've got some new leader uniforms that you can check out. We've got brand new awards, which I think look phenomenal and are high quality. It mentions the new book with Barna. There's some ways you can buy pieces of the old Awana game floor on there and more. So that product guide, you can go to awana.org/catalogs to get to it. If you have any trouble finding it, just let me know and I can send it to you. Because remember, we started last year where these are just digital now. We're not mailing them out anymore, which I think just keeps it simplified and streamlined. So, but I mentioned Awana Basics. To me, this is one of the greatest perks of an Awana membership, and we're always updating this thing. So we came out with it last year, and if you haven't seen it, it's an online training platform that can train both new and veteran leaders in the basics of Awana clubs. We cover everything from what is Awana to very specific training on each club. So if you have a Sparks leader, they go on there. They get very specific training on what a Sparks leader needs to know. Some updates to this that we're adding. We've already added some demonstration videos. So we have demonstrations on what does small group time, sorry, what does small group time look like for Sparks? Or what does large group time look like for TNT? Or what does Cubbies look like in general? So we've got demonstration videos for that. Something we're adding soon also is we're going to have some documentation and some tips and ideas in doing ministry with those with special abilities. So that's going to be coming soon. Keep an eye out for that. But if you haven't got onto Awana Basics online, check it out. If you need any help with it or have questions, just let me know. Speaking of training, so that's training for online. If you're wanting something in person that's going to equip you, our Awana Ministry Conference is happening again this year. It's going to be August 6th, which is a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Salem Baptist Church in Dalton, Georgia. We have simplified the conference in a lot of ways, not in content or in quality, but one feedback we got was people said, hey, could we shorten it a little bit so it doesn't take up our whole day? So what we've done is we have shortened the conference, but we have heightened it to where every minute you're there, we're going to be covering key training and application for Awana Club's ministry. So when you're there, we're going to have training on Awana Essentials for new leaders. We have training for veteran leaders on some greater levels of leadership and other things. But then we've also got training on maybe just your pastor who's coming, or maybe someone, they're just looking for something more general in the ideas of discipleship, or how do I reach kids in this modern culture. So we've got something for everybody at this conference this year. We're gonna have different tracks. You can look into those on the registration page. So if you just go to events.awana.org, or I think it's events.awana.org, you can find our conference there. And right now we got early bird pricing. It's $15, y'all. That is cheap for a conference. So I'd love to see you there. This is going to be a mix of both Tennessee, Georgia churches, and possibly Alabama churches as well. So come to connect with leaders, get good training, and would love to see you there. We're also going to be giving away tickets to CDF, as I mentioned earlier, the Child Discipleship Forum. So would love to see you come out to win some prizes, get good content, and connect with other leaders. As far as some free things that you can plug into, we're always adding new resources and videos to Awana Clubs Plus. This came out during COVID when we were needing some more digital options. And so on here, there is videos of leaders teaching lessons. So if you needed an idea on how to teach something, there's probably a leader there teaching that very lesson you're looking into. There's some downloadable things, some verse cards, other stuff like that. Back to club guides, all of that. So go to awanaplus.com. We house a lot of free resources there. And then lastly, what I would highlight as far as Awana Clubs is we have Awana Clubs podcast. This came out last year, was received very well. And our goal is to keep this very practical. We want to just give you tips and ideas for your Awana Club. Next season starting up soon. I'm excited. I'm going to have some guests I interview, and some other hosts are going to be on there to interview some guests. So would love for you to subscribe and check out the content on Awana Clubs podcast. And again, you can listen to that wherever you listen to podcasts. Well, y'all, that's all the resources I have as far as what's at the tip of the iceberg for child discipleship and the resources we have to equip the church with it. I wanted to end on a high note, though. Again, this is updates on what's going on with Awana, and this to me is worth ending on because it's so beautiful. So recently, Awana just celebrated reaching 5 million kids every week. Think about that. Every week, consistently reaching 5 million kids. That's amazing. And so to celebrate that, Awana has a website called 5millionkids.com where we help you track all these kids, track what all the kids we're reaching, but showing you ways you can partner with us to help us reach more kids. And on there, we talk about the Africa Schools Project. And if you haven't heard, to me, this is one of the most inspiring things. It's just such a God story. So Awana is getting a chance to go into the public schools in different countries within Africa. How? I mean, only God can do that. Many there in the school system recognize a difference in kids who go to Awana and kids who don't. So they said they wanted Awana in the school systems. And that gives us an opportunity to potentially reach 30 million more kids for Christ. I mean, it's just unreal. So if you want to learn more about that, on the 5millionkids.com website, we have links to learn more about the Africa Schools Project. You can also just go to awana.org and find it through there as well. But y'all, it's amazing the doors God is opening, not just here in the United States to make resilient disciples, but in other countries like Africa as well. So I wanted to end on that high note because, man, the work God is doing in this ministry, He deserves all the praise and glory for it. And I just want to end by saying thank you for joining me for this quick Awana Connect. I want to thank you for being a consistent leader in the lives of those kids. As we've seen time and time again in research, your presence, the relationship you have with these kids can have eternal significance because the Holy Spirit can work through your faithfulness to change the lives of these children as we help them believe in the enduring truth of God's Word, so that as they leave our ministries, they believe in a big God and have a resolve to follow Him no matter what. Well, y'all take care. Again, if you ever need anything, have questions, reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. But I pray that you have a great week, that you have a great ministry year, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.